No time at all.
We are here. The time has finally come. It has been me and Martin have known each other for over a year. We met in the most unique of ways. And now we are building the next generation of sales development using AI and probably going to disrupt the whole industry. So, Martin, for the people that don't know who you are and
Yeah.
just getting involved for today, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
I'm Martin to start with. So that's a good starting point. Coming out of Denmark, where I'm placed, and 44 years old. My God, time flies, especially when your young energy come into the picture. Time flies. Yeah, I'm born and raised already, and therefore I said I was 44. Wow, and I started up in outbound telemarketing when I was like 18. So that's where I'm coming from. Outbound industry. Have been living that my whole life, actually. And now on a new journey, in the same space as you said with Mega, that we have to talk more about later on. But yeah, that's me.
So why sales? 18 years old, you have your whole life
Yeah,
ahead of
yeah.
you. Why
It's
sales?
actually quite a funny story, because I was a guide, when I was really really young. I you went to these charter trips with your parents, and I saw these guides, reps standing there in the airport, and looking sharp, and and their purpose was not actually to give me a good tour to the beach or whatever. They were there to sell me something. That's what they do, reps or guides, when you come
Yeah,
down to
okay.
travel. I was there, and I loved it. In my young days, I said to my mom, I want to be like that when I grow up. And when I grew up to be old enough, I went on the trip. I went to the rep school and become a guide for Apollo Travel, a big agency in the Norwegian countries. And one thing I loved in my 3 years out there was not to guide them on camel safaris or guide parties or pub crawls or whatever. What I found myself loving was to get them from the airport down to the welcome meeting area, and then 1 hour pep talk, and then ticket book up and sell excursions. I love. So I came out of that 2 3 years after. They said, you have 5.5 excursions sold per each guest per week. So they are not coming down for sunbathing, they are just going on your excursion. So I love that. So my experience in sales started actually uh, in that moment in my life. And then when I came home, I needed to have a job like everybody else, have no money. When you're a guide, you spend more than you get. Especially if you were me at that time. So I spent more than I had. So I needed to get a job. I came home to Denmark with my girlfriend at that time. And then I said, fuck, I need to find a job where I don't need to write an application. I didn't want to write an
Yeah, of
application.
course.
So, you,
Yep.
you just personality wise, I just want to get going. So and we then went down to a web cafe that was known. You didn't have computer home at that time, so you went down to the internet cafe. And then my girlfriend, she was looking also for a job, and she found one like telemarketing outbound. No application is set, just call. And I and I stood behind, and looked, over. And then I took my phone and I ran out to the back and I called that number, say, hey, can I come to an interview? And, And they said, yeah, you can come to an interview. I went to the interview, the day after I got the job. I had to start up the day after on a try period, setting book clubs for kids. And I said, all right. And in that shift, those 3 hour shift in that company in the evening from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I fall in love with outbound. I hit 37 book clubs, in the book, on the whole environment, ding, 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 it's just like a rock star. And so I found out that I was not skilled at super many things in my life, but I was good to that. So
Wow. So that
big
was
background.
that's actually the next question, which is like, where did you discover your spark? For everybody who's in sales or who's built businesses, the majority of all of our guests are people that have built businesses, are building businesses, or are running or have sold businesses. There's something about introverts, people like me and you, who we're able to discover we're different at some point in your life. There's always a time where you're like, wow, I'm just not fitting in with these people, or I don't get along with these people. What is it? Like, I'm not a bad person. These people think I'm funny, or these people think I'm fun to be around, but this group here is just
Yeah.
you know. When did you discover then that you had like, well, you've gone to that job, you're selling the shit out of the programs. When did you really discover that you had a spark, or was that it?
No, you're right. It's actually these things about fitting in. I was also, and I know you also from before. Before we got to that age, our young, in schools, I was not, the brightest one in school.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best characters at all. I couldn't. I was out the fucking door 4 times a week. Go out, stand outside because you're making noise. That was like my school for 9 years. And I actually remember it actually shaped me, maybe not in a good way. I remember that every time, every month, all the kids' names from the classroom had to go to a hat, and then you could pick a partner, and then you have to sit beside that partner for the next month. My name was never in that hat. I sat up front. In the teacher was here. My table was just here. For 9 fucking years, so without it, maybe I had one or two chances
Yeah.
and I blew them up because blah, 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 blah. So you so you actually find out there that okay, that that there is other priorities, or you're not fitting in
Yep.
to that world. And I felt outside, actually, for my whole school, until I became a guide. Came out to performing the environment together with other people
Mm,
that was like the same personality,
mm,
same energy, maybe not so good, so I think that shaped you a little bit. And then when I came to that shift that evening and I had success, and I remember that I was together with a lot of other people, that we were celebrating, that environment, that energy. And I found out that okay, I was really good verbally,
mm,
and I had a sharp understanding of how to sell a product because I've been doing it with all these
mm.
years as a web there. So I found I think I was drawn to it immediately. I needed to have more. And I remember I said to myself that evening, I want to become a team lead. I remember the team leader. He walked, in the aisle there. And, he was the top performer, and you know, I wanted to be like that.
Yep.
The first evening, so I said, I want to have his job in 3, 4 months, and I want to do everything I can to get it. And I think that is some of the skills that you bring, that I bring, that people like us, or like people often in the sales industry bring with them. Then say, okay, I was not good in school, but I know the hard way how to get my results done. So I know how to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you are used to no's, and you are used to all the things that come. You are maybe a little bit tough on some areas.
Yep.
So I love that. So that was just my goal from coming into the company. I want to be a team leader, and then I want to grow to be a head of sales, and then I want to be. And then I remember the boss of the company. He came in that evening, and he came over, clapped you on the shoulder. That recognition, I think, also that maybe lacked a little bit in your school time. You get that there, so you get addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the moment of, wow, I need to stay in this. I found my shield. Okay, I don't need to worry about taking an education
Yep.
for 5 years, and all the other people, hey, I need to go to a university. So I don't even have I have 9 degrees, and that's it.
Same
And
here.
they stand me. You're not fit to go to.
I'm the same. I'm the same, bro. And in terms of getting in school, I just wanted to be the funny guy. Like I
Yeah.
wanted people to like me. I think that's what the one thing it was. I wanted people to like me. I knew that being somebody's enemy was never good. It was never anything positive. But when people liked you, you were able to get certain things the way you wanted it. And as I went through life, in school, teachers, for some reason, you could be nice to them, but they were just always fucking pricks, in my opinion. They were never on my side. In my yearbook, it says teacher. My thing was teacher's worst nightmare, Shane Mahi. And after time, I realized like these people don't. They really, really don't want me to do good. And
No.
I went through college, and then I didn't do anything good there. Then there's a big gap where just there was no authority. And
Yeah.
that was where I just got bored, and that's when I played around with drugs. But when I went to rehab and started to meet other drug addicts who had become better drug addicts at rehab, I started to learn like, well, okay. It was very strange, bro. It was like, wow, this is cool. These guys know how to
Yeah.
get things they want and do things they want. I want to do those things, and they could do it. So you'd learn and learn and learn, and then went through. People know my story. I went to prison, and
Yeah.
I was able to get what I wanted out of the correctional officers.
Yeah.
I was able to manipulate them and get them to give me time outside of my cell, let me go up and down different hallways. Like those were big freedoms that you don't get if you're locked in your cell all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after all of that, I knew that all right, if I can get through rehab, jail, and then I came out and then started to get into employment, if I can get through these things, I could do anything I want. And I
Yeah.
think there was one time I was ready to give up. One time I was gonna quit. Now it went I was a security guard in 2014. 2015, I sold my first financial training courses. The first one I actually went to, there was one person who showed up, and there was supposed to be 15. It was a complete embarrassment. Then I sold legal and compliance conferences, which were really good, and I was really good at that. And then I went into a job where I was supposed to sell sponsorship, and I was terrible. And I wanted to quit after that, but I one of my bosses gave me a chance, and he
Yeah.
said, "If you don't start making me money, I'm gonna have to fire you. I like you.
Yeah.
You're very nice to
Yeah.
work with. You got lots of jokes, but if you don't do good and make me money, I have to fire you."
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's a wake up call.
"That
It was a wake up
massive
call.
wake up call." And then the next
Yeah.
day, I came in and he said, "Do you like working at that in this division?" I said, "No." He said, "All right, I'm going to put you over here." And he put me over there 3 months off to the races. I knew then, like, all right, I'm the man. Was there ever a time where you moved, whether it's through team leader or you went to the telemarketing firm, where you wanted to quit, but something took you into another direction?
Yes. Yep. And you're precisely right. And I think that's why I remember we have talked about it before. You have these strong mentors in your life. Maybe they're not there anymore,
Mhm.
but they were a part of your journey because,
Mhm.
as when I grew up with a mother only. I didn't have a father figure in
Mhm.
my life at all. I also became, like doing things that are not normal
Mhm.
for kids to do that age.
Yeah.
But, it was, but it was not my mother's fault. But you needed that maybe also in life. So when you found that, like you found a guy said, "Hey, I believe in you. You're cool. I want you,
Mhm.
but get your ass together."
Mhm.
That's also the only message you understand. You have. It's the only way that you understand. Otherwise, you have been manipulated your whole life up to that. So somebody said, "Okay, hello," and I had the same figure in that company when I started there as on the phone selling book clubs, mobile phones, all that. Becoming a team leader actually quite fast, and had a guy, the owner of the company. I was there for 4 years. Became head of sales for 150 people there. Within 6 months, I had a guy called Ulrich, who was my mentor, the owner of the company. It was like he was like mean like shit, like a real bastard,
Mhm.
towards the mostly people. So on good and worth, he actually taught me a lot of things. But he taught me and he took me in.
Mhm.
He took me in, and under his wings, gave me responsibility. I developed, together. So for me, that was a strong mentor, somebody who made a difference, in your career, and actually made that turning point for not quitting or saying, "Okay, I'm bored," but brought me on, believed in me. So I think, so I agree that when you still, there's somebody who was, it's because of him I'm here where I am today. Because if I left when I was bored of everything and when everything was, tired, and then I wouldn't have been here today,
Mhm.
because I learned everything from him that started my career. So I get where you're coming from.
So
Um,
why did you stay in sales? What was it about making calls, um, outbound, being able to take somebody from a place of I don't know who you are to giving you money? what is it about sales that keeps you doing it day in and day out?
But you can say from my perspective, it's actually the when we come from outbound, I say sales. What is sales? Actually, a lot of people are talking about when I have courses or meet other sellers. I think we are coming from sales in my world is the hardcore part of it. We come from the outbound industry,
Mm.
and because of that, I think a lot of people are burning out because in other type of sales industry, because it's more or less the same that they are doing and they're doing. We are inventing things in our industry, because cold canvas started. We begin with the dialers,
Mhm.
affectionately. We are measuring things. We are analyzing our leads. We are finding our ICP on different list stores. We are using AI to enrich our leads to we are using now part dialer, smart dialer, VoIP dialer, whatever combination of it. We are so super skilled in that environment of of understanding the sales process, understanding the numbers, and do something about them. And that's the interesting thing for me working in sales. That's why I love it every day, because especially now, you know, I had a podcast the other day. We talk about how did it start? Yeah, with a yellow phone book. Your boss came and say, "Here, take that mobile, get going, call some people, and to now where AI is taking over our support, our help, uh, so I think that's why it's keeping me here. So on one part, I love the dialogue. I love the craftsman work that it is to be a seller. I think that when many people ask you, what are you today? I was a CEO. I'm a co-founder of a big. No, I'm a seller.
Mhm.
See, I'm simply just a seller.
Yep.
And that's it.
Hmm.
Not all these fancy titles. So what we do is that we are selling us, or we are working in that space. So I love the dialogue. I like the craftsman work with it. That's also why it's so provoking to come into call centers. Where here's a script, get going.
That's it.
That's not about
That's it.
um, so that's why I love it. I love it because of all the technical improvements and new systems and new methods coming into force that allow us to be even better. And I love the depthness of it, how we in this business go down and analyzing, and you know by all these numbers and knowledge we have, can perform better and better. And then I think we're looking into, again, for me, it's like a new area again. AI is on the table. For asked me 3-4 years ago, huh? You know,
Very true. Very, very true.
uh,
And that brings us on to next piece, which is what is it that you're doing today, which is one of the main highlights of what I'm doing. Walk me through what's happening in your business environment today. Tell me what's happening.
yeah, but as the co-founder of Mega AI, you can say that's a new game changer for me. It's a new area in the industry, in the business now. To give everybody a little bit more context of why we're doing and what we are doing
First,
maybe
say
here,
this: what
because
is Mega? For those that don't know, what is Mega?
AI appointment scheduling, in one word, you can say, actually that actually packs a good appointment scheduling based on AI synthetic speech. And that actually sounds like super techy. And basically, we are not a tech firm with a smart idea, but actually, trying to solve an issue that the industry has been facing for many years. So what we are doing is we are booking appointment to an AI bot on different kind of products, business to business, business to consumer, public sector. Um, and just to give a little bit background what that is, and then go maybe a little bit into it, because it actually leans down to how I see the industry developing right now. Because when you are part of also the last company that I was a part of, the whistleblower partners, we were like having a drill. The task was to build up 6 or 7 different markets,
Yep.
attack fast,
Yep.
and check with a lot of meetings booked and a lot of
Hmm.
fast clients coming in. And the biggest challenge for Grow, we got 48 people sitting there, and like 20 of them sat as BDRs booking meetings. We got 400 meetings a month.
Yep.
We got multiple hundreds of clients coming in. So, but what was, and the answer, the
Mhm.
biggest obstacle for growth for us was we could not get enough BDRs. we could not get enough meetings in.
Yep.
And that has been a challenge also when I had call center chains, but I had, for the last 10 years, running over 300 people in outbound operations in my call centers. The biggest obstacle for growth for all clients is not enough meetings. That's why they've tried to hire all these agencies for doing it, of course. So I see that was why we wanted to create Mega, coming from that background, understanding the issues ourselves, both me and my co-founders. Peter's running one of the largest inbound operation call centers in Scandinavian, Troels from the dialer industry, who's a partner of mine in Mega. So we wanted to solve that issue of what can we do to grow more, but also quite tired of all the solutions out there with bad robocalls or bots, that don't have respect for what it will take to book a good meeting. Because on one side is the hardest job. It's difficult to get people. They burn out. They're inconsistency. They are simply taking long time to ramp your teams up, etc., etc. That's one of the issues. On the other hand, and let's believe, for a lot of people, it's a shitty job. It's a hard job.
The worst. It's the worst.
It is. And for most company, prospecting phase, booking appointments in, scouting the market, discovery calls, etc.
Think about
It's
it, right?
expensive.
So while you're on that point, if you think about how hard it is actually to book a meeting, and I was fortunate enough to have good energy and a good speaking pattern to be able to have conversations with CEOs and decision makers. Now, everybody said you have to speak to the decision maker, and I built enough credibility, confidence to be able to have those conversations. Now, even when I built my business, I still had to figure out what was the right message to book a meeting. And it just so happened to be, hey, my name's Shane. I'm the CEO of an agency. Do you want to meet more pre-qualified buyers?
Yeah.
That was it. Just those
Yeah.
words. And the first 3 contracts for our business, our first 3 clients, we got them. Now, you ask anybody else to do the same job, they will fail miserably.
Yeah.
They will have some lucky people who will be nice to say, yeah, I'll give them the meeting, but then they won't show up.
Yeah.
Right. And then that is a consistent problem that goes. And then after 2 to 3 years of understanding how finance works, how this kind of spend will lower profits. And if you can increase this a little bit more, you can keep more profits. And when you start to understand how the cogs of business work, then when I have conversations now with anybody, like even what we're doing, I don't have to do cold calls anymore. I call somebody who I know from my phone book and say, hey, this is happening. Do you want to have a look? And the only reason they trust me is because they've seen me on podcasts, they've seen how I do business, they've seen how I operate, work a finance sheet or a balance sheet, and so on and so forth. So why do they ask 18-year-olds out of college to book meetings with the most senior important person in the fucking company?
Yes.
Why do they still do that?
Yeah, and it's amazing, and it has been a part of it's a part of the whole problem in the whole industry, in the whole outbound industry. It relates to many things. I think, first of all, a lot of them are working for clients where they are underpaid, and there's a lot of issues in that
The
part of the
lowest
business
part
also
paid in
with
the town.
higher.
Yeah.
But it is amazing that you're not taking. I was in a company, like, I think a year ago. I went into this big company. I had to get a meeting. In the first part of the company, all the BDRs, they sat. In the next part, the AEs, account executive, the sellers, call it whatever you want. And the next step, the marketing. And then there was, and then I asked, where the CEO? No, he's sitting down with the BDR team. And I said, what? And I smiled, just said, whoa. I went down, the CEO sat there, and then I asked, cool, man, no closed office in that department. I said, what are you doing here? He said, this is the most important part of the whole
Of
company.
course.
Without these people, there's no business anymore. Anyway, so they got it. But it just said it is the most important job in also every business to prospecting, to get meetings in, to get revenue driving, of course. And as you're saying, why do you hire 18 years old people to do that? When in my call centers, the fact was we had 300 people there, and I would say 20% did 70%. 20% of the sellers or BDRs did 70% of the revenue in the company, the top spears. And then you have all the others coming in to fill out, the volume that you need in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
volume-based business. So you're right. And that is the thing we want to solve here is of course, one thing is um, to say, okay, it is hard to ramp up. It is a job where you cannot grow anymore before you get new meetings in. So we want to solve that problem, building a bot, but a bot who can call up companies, who can have a respectful dialogue, but a skilled dialogue. I think that is the issue here. There's like all the tech companies and solutions popping up out here. A lot of them are not super skilled in the assignment that you want. What is the problem you want to solve? You want to try to get more meetings in the book. The one who comes with most meetings in the book on your day-to-day business now are the most skilled BDRs that you have. So you want to take those, you want to copy everything they do, and then you want to multiply that by 100.
Yeah.
And the way to do that, the only way to do that is to put it to some AI, change it to some AI mentality, because it is not happening either. It is
No.
difficult.
So how if a company is looking at revamping or remodeling their sales process
Yeah,
from, let's say, right now, again, they I think they will constantly do it because some people just never learn. You'll have 18 to 24-year-olds that start in sales. You
yeah,
start with booking meetings, which again is quite dumb if you think about it. Then from them going to book those meetings, then they give those meetings that an 18-year-old thinks is a good meeting, and then they give
yes,
that to an AE who believes the SDR is their fucking worker or whatever it is.
yeah,
And then now you've got a piece where you've got this potential agent that can sit anywhere in between the SDR and the AE, but it also
yeah,
has to have more knowledge than both of them, which is the missing
yes,
gap. The knowledge has to be there. So, how do
yes,
you tell a company who's new to this?
yeah,
This is how you start bringing AI into your sales development operation.
yeah. And you can say it actually fit in different kind of places. If we take the appointment setting process, so there are different kind of where it fits in, and there's also the question of what is the market ready for now, and what is the market ready for in 6-12 months. It goes super fast what
Very true,
everybody's
yeah.
ready for right now. So in general, for the most partners we have bringing on board now, beta partners coming from the outbound industry, 10,000s of calls, we are starting up with saying, let's try to solve one issue at a time. So one thing is to the prospecting phase, to call up, multiple people, to warm them up, sending information out, try to schedule an appointment. So there's a connecting phase, there's passing through a gatekeeper, and after you come to the right person, connect the call directly over to an AE, the agent, or an SDR.
Mhm.
So I think it's a combination for the next period is a combination of where can the AI support the BDRs, the existing BDRs, and then you remove all the people from your department that are not delivering results, that was not meant to be BDRs, and then you replace some of it with with an AI prospect or a connecting phase. I talked to somebody today saying we are actually spending over 60% of our time at just coming through to the decision makers. So if we can solve that issue to begin with, a combination. Then another client I had today, that we are talking about uh, calling up for existing customers, having a new product that you want to launch, want to talk with them. Are they interested in being passed directly over to a seller, or do they want to schedule an appointment for later on when it fits them? So I think we will see this AI solutions here also for our own case, in different parts and start of the dialogue, and in combination with a human being. And then I think, of course, we will see by time, and I think it goes faster than we think, that the AI will take the whole prospecting phase and the whole appointment setting. You will have a conversation with it over 20, 30, 40 minutes if you want. It will be able to answer all your questions, but let's admit it, it has more information of you and me or our BDR together, because it has every information. And the way that we are training our AI bots is by loading 10,000s of calls into it, analyzing them, cleaning them up, and besides that, tons of material, written material, analyzing price lists, competitioners, etc., etc. So everything you want that to the service level that you want to have it, the great experience that it needs to give to your to the clients and prospect it will call, will be more phenomenal, I think, than the human being. And just let me put a little. I read an article the other day, and it was actually scary on one point and then quite interesting, but actually backing it a little bit up with Klarna, who have just recently replaced 700 agents with AI bots in customer service now. That's 2/3 of all their customer service agents are now AI bots. And then you would think, wow, what happened to the customer satisfaction? But after 1 month of test now, the waiting time came from 7 minutes, or the
Yeah.
resolution time from 7 minutes to 2 minutes. And the net promoter score, the satisfaction score for clients, were equal as when they talk to a human being. And that is just interesting. And I think we will see more of that in outbound also, that AI will take over more of the process, and then more of the people doing that will be coming over to uh, sales, direct sales, or will come over to be a part of it, in the middle, as you said, between the AI and the sales team. There are some BDRs that will work closer together with these AI tools.
So, what do you think will be the biggest challenge? Let's say from there's a way you could ask this: is what's the biggest problem that we have in sales today? Now, you can go anywhere from trust, you can go to too much automation, trying to personalize too much. You can have a bunch of things. But if you were to say, what's going to be the biggest problem for
Yeah,
companies to shift from human based, 100% human focused sales to
yeah,
AI augmented sales, what's going to be
yeah,
the problem they see when they move
yeah.
from A to B?
I think there is a huge assignment, both if you do inbound chatbots, LinkedIn messages, outbound with AI. I think there's a huge responsibility of remember where it came from. That is not better than the human touch and the human knowledge and the human skills that you put into. So I think it's a big challenge if you just take AI products in, that I see many does. Oh, I take this as a cheap solution. I can take it and I can replace those people. But just remember, I think that would be a challenge, and I think it will have a bad impact. We can see it have a bad
So,
impact
quick one
already.
on that. So, just so we're clear, so the audience can understand. Are you saying it will be so the problem from moving from A to B will be cutting corners and not spending money where it's necessary?
Yeah. And not having the necessarily respect for how well you need to train, and move that, focus from everything you did with your human outbound or human inbound, or human customer service agents, everything they were trained to do, they were skilled to do, all the things they went through. You have to be very, very skilled and current to take that and remove it over to your AI, and being sure that the, the goal in the end is to give the same experience for the people that you are serving out there. Otherwise, I think that would be a challenge, that if you take too light on it, that passing over of knowledge, and just think you can replace it with some robots because it's cheaper, it's more efficient, etc. But we should just remember still that sales and customer service is also about, especially about connections,
Yeah.
good experience, uh, to actually have a good and present experience, and a transparent and honest experience out there. So I see some big companies in Denmark, they changed over in customer service, just for they put down the human department, replaced it with AI, and then they have to flip it back again because the AI, it responded wrong, 15-20% of all time. It was not a good experience for the client. So the client, they moved away to other, they were not ready for it because it was not trained well enough. They were not put enough love into the process. I think that's a
Wow.
challenge.
All right. I think no. I think that's a very big thing to take part in because again, where people are looking at this, it's how do I get more instant gratification? And if you think about social media, even for me, I've been in this fucking binge I can't get out of right now, where TikTok is so addictive sometimes, and you're just, all right, let me just see one more, and it is like a slot machine, right? But now the
Yeah,
reason why I
yeah,
say that is because now they have, how do I grow faster? And all you do is literally 4 to 6 euros, you can increase your views by thousands. And think about these kids, and that you've got kids, then you've got people, consumers, then you've got business owners who want to increase their reach and get seen by more people. So, but by just pushing a button now, you can pay for ads, you can increase your views, you can get your instant gratification of I'm more popular, right? And
yeah,
now, if you
yeah,
move that over to business and you say, I have a way to make my business generate money, produce money faster. And the way I can do
yeah.
that is by calling more people, booking more meetings, getting it through the sales process quicker, and just how can I draw more people? Then you start moving up, and how do you start bringing people from the top? Unless you have it perfectly set. Now, if people are not careful in, like you said, training these bots, what are the repercussions? What are the consequences?
Yeah, you can say, I think in some industries they are not worse. We joked a little bit about it with one American client today. Say, yeah, okay, the worst thing that can happen is that the client we are doing outbound will have a bad experience, but that's also happening with the human
Of
beings
course it
sometimes,
is. Yeah.
And of course, you can imagine how that could be a problem. Of course, in support cases, public service agents, etc., where it simply answer wrong or give a bad experience to the client. There has been tendency for the robots to, if they are not controlled correctly, to simply be racist. Uh, and you can say, is that how bad is that? That's quite bad if you do 100,000 calls and it will begin to have that, or it will simply be wrong, or it will be rude. And we had to say, or simply not answering or giving the experience to the client that you would love your company to present, that you have been training your human beings of doing. So your reputation is on the line if you're not creating good experience. And we talked a lot about also this. Why should we be transparent about that we are an AI when we call out? I get that question all the time from people. Hey, do we need to tell we are bot? Yes. E-
Yes,
Everything
you do,
else
yeah.
doesn't make sense. What is it that you want? You want to give a transparent, great experience for your clients, and that's why we are working without, just to give you an example of how serious I mean it, about giving a good experience, because I think your reputation is on the line if you are not giving them a good experience in customer service, in technical support, where it's taking over, in outbound activities.
Hmm.
If you're not doing that, you have a problem. So that's why you need to be transparent when I'm calling up. Hey, I'm an AI. Do you want to talk to a human colleague? Just let me know. I pass you over.
Exactly. Very
Be
easy.
transparent about that. Etc., etc. And I think there will come a time where people say, "No, funny. I would love to talk to you anyway." And
Hmm.
and and in a year, everybody is so normal. So I think you should. That's a focus area to train it correctly. Um, and having focus for the great experience. We are working with tonalities now, with some of the leading universities in AI tonality, because why is that important in an appointment scheduling? But yeah, it's important because they are like in sales, different kind of client types.
Yep.
If I'm calling Shane, I need to talk like this. If
Yeah.
I'm calling another, I need to talk like that. If you're not taking that into consideration and put it into your experience that you are providing to your prospect, I think you are missing out, and you are going down the wrong direction. People would love to have that present experience where your product, again, now the bot will be the first one representing you as a business owner.
Oh my
What do
God.
you want it to
I
do?
would.
You want it to create a good experience.
My dream scenario, if I was to be able to pick my dream scenario, and you can answer this for the next piece, but it would be to have one AI agent working 24/7 in each
Yeah,
country or each
yeah,
continent all over the
yeah,
world, right? So all
yeah,
7 continents will have an Asian, Chinese, Korean, Thai, whatever agent. You'll have a Russian agent that speaks just like Putin. You'll have an American agent that speaks like Biden. You'll have all South American, Danish, European, French, all of it. And just because people trust people from their own region, you'll, again, that tonality piece will be very important. So, where do you see, if everything goes right? Everything goes
Yeah.
perfect in. GPT progresses into something that does more good than we've imagined. It's not all bad. You've got Google's Gemini, you've got Elon Musk has a new one coming out. And then we've
Yeah.
got Mega that is
Yeah.
booking meetings on demand, 24/7, quality
Yeah.
controllers through the roof. What do you see for Mega in 5 years? What should the industry look like? What should sales development look like if you have Mega as a solution?
First of all, I think we will be the global leading provider within our space, not in AI, in our space, appointment setting, business to business, tech, consumer, public sector. Because so if you are a customer so, and this is your future, then you are part of building skilled BDRs that can help you book your meetings, prospecting the market, doing discovery calls. So we will dominate that market. I'm certain of, because of the way and the professionalism we bring on board to it, and because we are coming with, all of us plus 20 years in the industry understanding, and actually not because of us, all our partners now, the 10 partners that we are working with in our beta phase here, are all owning their space in the outbound
Mhm.
industry. They're super skilled people, huge companies with a lot of skill knowledge in each sector of it. So for clients that work with Mega, they will have consistent appointments coming in. They will have prospecting phase. They will have a machine that's filling up their pipelines with opportunities, and they will be. They will be leading their space. I talked to a venture company the other day, and they said the most founding company, the most again people that don't grow out there, Silicon Valley and mid-sized company, because now marketing budgets have taken over. So, but then they said you should not remember, pick up that phone and start dialing. It is the only way to get massive income, to raise yourself to 1 million in yearly revenue the first year, whatever. It takes that phone. So I think it will be so crucial also in the world we are looking into now, where people sit more on the money. Also, let's admit it, it's a harder market
Of
today,
course it
that you
is.
need to do a lot more outreach, and people doing that with Mega will have success.
So, if you think about it, just as you said, marketing budget is outweighing pretty much everything because, well, it's actually a good conversation to have because you can spend X amount on SEO, on developing content, creating content,
Yeah,
posting content, scheduling content, and then that can to get the right type of approach, you sometimes need to spend between 10 and 20% of your overall income.
yeah,
Now, on the other side, you've got an environment where you can hire an agency like a Bright Vision, like a Sales Driven, like a
yeah,
Air Marketing, Alley whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
those price ranges are from 5,000 to 8,000 a month. So if you're a bigger company, not only do you have the agency, but you have two or three agencies working together,
yeah,
seeing who's going to develop the most. And then on the other side, then you have webinars and all this other stuff by your internal marketing team. Then you might have another spend. So your overall spend, let's say you're $1 million business a year, you're spending 100K on marketing every year. What kind of cost does Mega offer to, or what is the cost of Mega as a solution in comparison to $100,000 a year marketing budget?
you can say that if you take if you look into hiring people and what that is costing you, normally there's a lot of, it's just not yeah, of course it's a lot cheaper by the hour for many, but then you have all the other costs around it: recruitment cost, ramp up cost, burnout, in and out of your business. So you can see we are reducing your cost with more than 70% of your current spending on your BDR outreach. But I don't think that actually cover it at all, because as again, when I'm to going back to when we had our call centers, and everybody will say the same, that yeah, maybe it's not 30% or 40% of it. Some big percent are doing the most of your business. So all the people who are not performing well,
Mhm.
who are burning out leads, who are burning out contacts out there, you are not having them anymore. So we try. Our goal is for all our partners is to be amongst the 20 best percent of your existing BDR teams. That's why we are training them on their material and their knowledge, so it's consistent. So that's also to add, so one thing is to reduce the cost dramatically for recruitment and salary
Mhm.
and etc., etc. But again, you also have like the perfect solution, you can say, that is consistent in dialogue and also learn all the time, getting better and better and better. So I think that there's many factors in it. Yeah.
Oh,
And again, is the next year it will be a combination again. So you will still, I think, for many will still have their skilled BDR team, and then it's also a question. Maybe you will actually, stay where you are with your great people, but you want to prospect more. You want to scout the market. You want to, do discovery calls, and by that, moving more hot pipeline into your BDRs for them to book even more
that is
meetings
how
that they
people
do
want to do
already.
it. And I've spoken to a few people, and this is where they get lost. So a lot of people who are watching this or who I'm having conversations with have said, "Yeah, but don't you think it's crazy how an AI agent can have so much or can speak for this long or have that level of trust or that level of dialogue?" And I said, listen, shut the fuck up. It's not about that, okay? The only thing you need to worry about is, can the agent call and say, "Hey, I'm an agent. Do you want to speak to me or somebody else?"
Yeah.
That is it. That's it. That's all.
As you said, as you said, and you're quite right in that. And everybody's saying also, yeah, it's possible. Is the market ready for it? Yeah, in some businesses, maybe in some other. It don't matter. We are starting now, so now we are here, uh, and then we are here in another place. I asked a guy from a big company doing synthetic robots. I had a conversation with him a couple of weeks ago and asked him, how long time before you think, just for fun, my bots are booking the meeting, sending it over, sending a Teams invite or Zoom invite out, and the person who are meeting up in that Teams meeting will be an AI avatar of me, so I can have 100 margins out there. And he laughed and he laughed and he said, "Yeah, yeah, okay, but it goes fast in the space right now. I would say 6 to 8 months." He said maybe 4 to 5 months if we're lucky. So that is the speed we are going with now. So what everybody think, let's get going. Let's try to shape it and build it for what the purpose is, with the biggest respect for the craftsman work that we are working in BDRs and sales, etc. And then let's see where we are in 6 months and 12 months. It will develop from
Of
here, of
course it
course.
will. And again, it's like, if you think about it, it's just, I think the way companies will develop this is through stages, stage development. So
Yes,
you get
yes,
into it and you say, okay, I want, the first thing is, do you want an AI agent in your business? That's the first question. The answer should be
yeah,
yes. And if you can do that, can you call prospective customers and ask them if they want to speak to your company? And the basis,
yes.
the strength of your company will allow the AI agent or a human agent to be able to break through that conversation. And then once you can break through that, then you can open up another phase, which is, if Connect and Sell does it the best, right? They say they have 27 seconds to open up a level of trust, 7 seconds to gain the first level of trust, which is your intro. Hi, my name is Shane. Do you have 27 seconds to hear why I'm calling? Yes. That's stage one of the robot done. Then you get 20 seconds. The reason I'm calling is because we've discovered a breakthrough that allows you
Um,
to book meetings 24/7 on demand. Do you want to hear more? Yes. Now stage two opens up stage three bot, and then stage three can say, the reason why I'm calling you today, I wanted to book a meeting with you. Do you have 15 minutes tomorrow? That's stage three. And then after that, then is where complications come in, where they say, I'm not available tomorrow. Now you've got something to think of and work. And only until you get to those phases of where
yeah,
somebody has an answer other than yes or no,
yeah,
then you
yeah.
need to develop further. But what people need to realize is you need to just get into stage one, two, and three
Precisely,
before you
precisely.
can have complex, heated, depth worthy conversations with your prospect. And until that time, you have fucking humans to do it for you. So,
And you're right. I love that you said, and I think you're correct. Our MVP that is ready now, and you have heard it, it can have a full dialogue with you. You can go in and book an appointment with you,
Yeah,
and 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 so you can use it as you said. Yeah, phase one, phase two, phase. It will make it will you will know when it's ready, when your clients, when the markets are ready for next step and next step. And again, it will be dependent also if you are a smart tech company calling business to another company, want to sell your tech solutions. It's okay that you are on botman. We are working in the tech industry,
yeah,
but maybe a big old insurance company with 200 years behind it with they are not ready. They are maybe ready for phase one. And
exactly.
it will just come into motion for different kind of stages and different kind of companies. So you're right, and again, that's also why I'm a little provoked with some of the solutions out there. When the message is, "Hey, put in your 10 pages of dialogue and two calls, and then I can do a full sale." Of course, you don't want it to do that towards your client. Of course, you don't want them. It's not skilled enough. It's not a
Mhm.
good experience enough, and of course, you cannot replace your skilled sales team uh, with a budget
No,
that can do
definitely
precisely.
not.
Of course not.
Definitely not.
Of course not.
So let's ask this. To be a founder in 2024, you've got a lot of noise around you. You've got a lot of people that are claiming to be this, they're claiming to earn this, they're claiming to have achieved this. It's hard to cut through the noise, right? A lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people that watch this are either sales professionals, founders already, maybe they've been a founder and want to do it again. They need to hear from some of the people that have not given up what helps you continuously keep going and fighting. Life is hard. Like you, me, and you've been through it. Past year has been quite up and down for me. I know it's been quite up and down for you. How do you stay strong through these times?
It's a good question, and you sometimes ask yourself, how do you do it? And I think when you fail in one, or when one is not, it didn't win out great. Like my last journey didn't win out great. Not that not in the context that I wanted it
Of
to.
course, same for me.
So you can see,
We're in the same
so you
boat.
can see that it's like, so why you keep doing, we keep doing it because we are taught like that. It's coming all the way back from our way in school where we needed to fight and fight. So we have a fighter mentality. We don't give up. We sit down, we do the hard work, we call, we have meetings. I have 5 meetings every day right now. I love it. I know what you are doing. We are all, we are fighters by nature. So I
Mhm,
think that has something to do with it, that we are not giving up. Another thing is to learn by what happened to you due to your past experience. I had a bad experience. I learned from it. I came to one conclusion, and that's actually the first time after our last journey when I
mm,
called you. I said, I only want to. You have to you have to learn from the experience that you are going through. If it's that you sold it to an investor, you went with a bad partner, or you thought fast money was the easiest way, which it never is. There
mhm,
is no, you know. So what can you learn from that and bring it on to your next adventure? And I have learned from all my company's successes and failures,
mm,
hopefully today, being a clever person. And then a good, for me, is all about the people that I'm surrounding myself with now. I am finished. I think that's the biggest, it's the biggest motivation factor every day to keep on going, even when it's rough. If you are working with people that you have super respect for, that are super skilled,
mhm.
and that you have a great personal connection with, instead of maybe smart investors coming in, and that you don't even like. Maybe I don't have a personality, no names mentioned, but so I think that's an important thing, and why you want to keep going. I love what I do, so I wake up every day and actually love to work. I think it's fantastic to work. I think it's funny. I love to build things and make it grow.
Of course.
So find that motivation, and remember that, yeah, it's rough, and but take your learnings with you from your failures and successes,
I think that's
and just let it be a part of your learning curve.
it is. It has to be, bro,
It
because
is. It is.
you don't learn anything unless you get wounded along the way. And I love seeing
No.
the pictures of you've got like this strong lion, and he's still walking, and he's got just arrows, 50 arrows in his back,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
bleeding, but he's going. And
Yeah.
that's like these are the things that motivate me when people say you would never be able to do this, or you can't do this, or you'll
yeah,
fail. And
yeah.
one of my ex, I actually love hearing it, but it's an ex business partner. He said, "Why are you still chasing this when you've made all that money last year?" And
It's not about the
and
money.
it's not. But the thing is, that still fucking kills him. That they tried to destroy me, and I start. Do you know I made what you made last year? I made that last week.
Yeah.
In some of those cases,
That-
that's the success when you go through the hard times, but you become now. Success isn't always
yes,
about money; it's the fulfillment of knowing you can't fucking beat me. No
yes,
matter who has tried you, same thing for you. Like the person who tried to do us,
yeah,
their karma's coming their way. Either it's
yeah,
there already
yeah,
or it's coming
yeah,
their way. But we are prevailing on the other side of greatness.
yeah,
We're working
yeah,
towards something. We're moving towards that greater
yeah,
good. And I think that's
yeah,
what people need to understand. That, yeah, bro, 2 weeks ago, like when I was sick, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like about to go through depression. I really
yeah,
was struggling, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening right now?"
yeah,
And I just looked
yeah.
at I just looked at my phone, and for some reason I saw a picture, and I said, I can't let this be it. There's no way. You are just the biggest bitch in the world if you let. And I had to get up, and that was it. And then, like again,
Yeah,
today went and bought some clothes, gelled my hair, got fresh again. I'm in the gym, I got all my protein, and you just got to push through those little stages,
yes,
right? So
yes.
for you, it's top of the hour. It's 5:13, 6:13 for you in Denmark. It's the 7th of March, 2024. On the 7th of March in 2034, tell me what you're doing.
I hope that
Only
I'm
for
actually.
women.
You're right. I was. Mega is globally launched. I will still talk to. I have a day-to-day talking to partners and clients still. I still want to be in that space. I have promised myself that I'm actually not a especially good leader in
No,
the
it's
top
not
of the
all that
funnel. I
fun.
actually hate managing people. It's not for me.
Me too.
So Mega is global because we got there by hand. You are part of it. I'm a part of it. I started my morning, my work day 8 hours ago. In 15 minutes, I have a sales meeting. In 2 hours from now, I have another sales meeting. This is how we went for the next year. We are building up. So I will look back in a year, not having so much meetings every day, more strategic still, but still wanna be a part of the game with my clients, sitting and talking with them, being on where everything is happening. They are filling me with knowledge so we can create an even better product. That's where we are, and I'm looking forward to precisely 12 months to sit here again with you and talk. How did that succeed,
Oh,
and how do we feel
we're
about it?
gonna have stories for days. We help companies get acquired faster, generate their first million faster, generate their first 1,000 meetings, earn their first million subscribers, clients, whatever.
Yes,
It's
yes,
the potential of what is happening again. 20 years ago, I was 2024, 2004. Holy shit, bro! Like you're only a couple of what 5 years older than me, so you were a senior in high school when I
yeah,
was a freshman, which is like year whatever. I don't know what the big difference is in the UK, but it's think it's year 12 to year 8.
yeah,
20 years ago, the first phone, the Nokia phone, came out that looked like right,
yeah, yeah.
and 20 years from then today, we have the ability to write something and create a fucking movie.
It's crazy.
We have the ability to write, I wanted to cook a healthy meal. I have spinach, I have steak mince, gluten free pasta, and salt. What should I make?
Make me a dish.
It made me the dish. I've got the dish, I've got the whole meal plan. And in what 3 months from me and you meeting, there's a robot that can book a meeting for a dialing company, and it's proven we've got that. So in 10 years, you can only imagine
You can You
how
can only imagine.
fast all this stuff is moving, and to hear us say these words, we are building an AI custom agent that will develop your sales pipeline day in, day out.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the line will be. And we
No.
are building
Yeah.
we have sold. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's crazy. So
It is.
anybody who, let's say, what's one consistent habit you would tell people to do every day so that they can remain or become successful? One habit. Mine is always execution.
Yeah. And now that you have taken that, mine would have then be a little bit smaller one, but in the same. I would say pick up that phone. So you can say execution, but it's a little bit in the same area. You don't come anywhere. I meet so many founders and startups, etc., that have great ideas, brilliant ideas, but they are not picking up that phone and they are not coming out and selling their product, and then it don't matter. So that's it. Pick up the phone.
All right, where can people find you, Martin? If people want to learn more about you, Mega, what you're doing, where can they find you?
LinkedIn, mega.ai. Uh, I'm trying to learn more about social media from you.
Bro, I'm
So
not
not on
even good at it. I'm
Instagram,
learning it
TikTok yet.
myself. I cannot figure this shit out. I've posted, I think, over 1,000 videos. I have 18,000 views in the past 90 days. And
Yeah.
still, there's still something that changes every day. It's fucking hard work. I tell you that.
And that's a good little drill here in the end to say, there's not like 2 months ago, I was out training like a young group of kids that went into a special school, like 16 years old, for cold canvas sale. And one went up to me, like 15 years old, said, Martin, your presence on social media is completely off. And I said, what? And I said, what? You're 15. And then I realized this is my future clients, man. This is my future buyers, man. I need to step my game up.
Everybody
So
needs
let's not advise, follow the young people, get more on social
It's very
media.
true, bro. It's
Nice
very
to
true.
talk with you today. Amazing.
Until next time, Martin, we will see you again. Stay there for 1 minute.